Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down this week's 40 most played country records in the USA, compiled by Mediabase 24/7 for the chart week of August 23rd, 2025. Before I get started counting down this week's biggest hits, let's take a look back at last week's top three. At number 3 was Good News by Shaboozey. Number 2 was After All the Bars Are Closed by Thomas Rhett. And the number 1 song last week was Fix What You Didn't Break by Nate Smith. Now, can Nate fix number 1 for another week? Let's find out, starting right now. Here's the first of the 40 biggest hits from Chris Young, slipping 2 spots to number 40 till the last one dies. And here's the week's only debut, coming in at number 39. It's the 6th top 40 hit by Megan Moroney, called 6 Months Later. For that one debut, we say goodbye to One Dropper, Falling Out as She Hates Me by Dierks Bentley. On with the countdown, here's Max McDown, up a notch to number 38 with Better Me For You. Up 3 spots to 37, here's Chris Janson with Me and a Beer. In at number 36 for the third week, it's newcomer Preston Cooper with Weak. Up 2 spots to number 35, here's Miranda Lambert and Chris Stapleton, called A Song to Sing. Slipping back a notch to number 34, here's Ernest with What If I Could. At number 33, up a notch, here's Dylan Scott and What He'll Never Have. In at number 32 for the fourth week, here's Justin Moore and Time's Ticking. Leaping 4 spots to number 31, here's Riley Green and Ella Langley and Don't Mind If I Do. In her 16th week in the countdown, she's up a notch to number 30, Megan Patrick with Golden Child. Up a notch to number 29, here's Hardy and Favorite Country Song. Holding steady at number 28, here's Megan Moroney and Kenny Chesney with You Had to Be There. At number 27, moving up 2, Blake Shelton with Stay Country or Die Trying. In at number 26 for the fourth week, it's George Burge and It Won't Be Long. In their 19th week in the countdown, they hold at number 25, Parmalee with Cowgirl. Falling back a spot to number 24, Rascal Flatts and the Jonas Brothers and I Dare You. In at number 23, moving up 1, Zach Top with Good Times and Tan Lines. Slipping a spot to number 22, here's Keith Urban with Straight Line. And heading north 1 spot to number 21, here's Hudson Westbrook with House Again. In his 18th week in the countdown, he holds at number 20, Tucker Wetmore with 3, 2, 1. Slipping 2 spots to number 19, his 29th week on the chart, Parker McCollum with What Kind of Man. At number 18, up a notch, here's Luke Combs with Back in the Saddle. At number 17, moving up 1, it's Lainey Wilson with Somewhere Over Laredo. Falling back a spot to number 16, here's Chase Matthew with Darlin'. Back a spot to number 15, Eric Church with Hands of Time. Back a spot to number 14, it's Jackson Dean, called Heavens to Betsy. The song's been on the chart the longest at 37 weeks. Moving up 3 spots to number 13, here's Morgan Wallen and I Got Better. Here's last week's number 1 record, down to number 12 this week, Nate Smith and Fix What You Didn't Break. And just a step away from the top 10, climbing a notch to number 11, here's John Party, called Friday Night Heartbreaker. Alright, here's the first of the 10 biggest hits, down 2 spots from number 8 to number 10, a recent number 1 hit. It's Tyler Hubbard with Park. Alright, entering the top 10, up 2 spots from 11 to number 9, scoring his 8th top 10 hit. It's Jelly Roll with Heart of Stone. At number 8, up 2 spots, Jordan Davis with Bar None. At number 7, moving up 2 spots, Scotty McCreery and Hootie and the Blowfish with Bottle Rockets. Holding steady at number 6 with his former number 1, Morgan Wallen and Just In Case. At number 5, moving up 2 spots, Russell Dickerson with Happened to Me. Up a notch to number 4, it's Bailey Zimmerman and Luke Combs with Backup Plan. The third most played country hit for the third week, it's Shaboozey and Good News. At number 2 for the third week in a row, it's Thomas Rhett, called After All the Bars Are Closed. And the new number 1 song in country music this week, taking 30 weeks to get here, moving from number 4 to number 1, racking up his 33rd number 1 country hit. It's Luke Bryan and Country Song Came On. And that is our countdown of the 40 most played country records in the USA this week. Join me again next week. Once again, we'll count them down and we'll find out who's got the number 1 song in country music. Thank you for listening.